Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening,
Some
sir. Good
followers
evening.
there.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Chetan. Hengidra, sir.
Sir, good, sir.
Okay, Raghu, good evening.
Oh, good evening, sir. Good evening.
Yeah. Gopal, sir, good evening. ಗೋಪಾಲ್ ಏನ್ ಸರ್ ಇನ್ನೂ ನೀವು ಮೈಕ್ ಸರಿ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡೋ ಭಾಗ್ಯನೇ ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಹಾ ಕರೋನಾನಾ ಮೈಕ್ಗೂ ಕರೋನಾ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ಯಾ ಸರ್ ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ
Corona, sir. Corona.
ವರುಣ್ ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಸರ್ ವೆಂಕಣ್ಣ ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್
Good evening, sir.
ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಓಕೆ ಅಕ್ಬರ್ ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಸರ್ ಪ್ರಸಾದ್ ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರಸಾದ್ ಹರ್ಷಿತಾ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಓಕೆ ಗಿರ್ಜಾ ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಮೇಡಮ್
Good evening, sir.
ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್
Good evening, sir.
ಚಿತ್ರ ಇನ್ನೂ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಮನೀಶ್
ಸುಚಿತ್ರಾ ಇನ್ನು ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ.
ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನು
ಹ್ಮ್.
ಓಕೆ So hope everyone is fine, healthy, happy.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Resume recording. Yeah. So topic for the day, credit controls and interest calculations. What do you understand? What is credit controls? What is interest calculations? Can anyone answer? Can anyone give your thoughts? What is interest calculations and what is credit controls and why it is important for your business? Anyone want to attempt? Can anyone update? Yeah, Akbar, you can unmute and speak.
Hi, this is Raghu here.
Raghu?
Basically, yeah.
Oh, sorry, it has got logged in as Akbar, so I thought.
No. It is logged in Raghu only.
Oh, is it? Okay. Fine, sir.
I think it looks like Akbar did not respond. I started. That's all.
No. Somebody, Akbar raised the hand, so I thought Akbar is speaking.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
It's okay. You can continue, Raghu.
Okay. Basically, credit limit is the limit which is given to each vendor, each customers,
Okay.
depending upon their payments, payment history, and as well as the purchase power. We are going to limit those credit limits. Once the credit limits are, when the payment is not happened against the credit, there will be interest availed for that particular thing. There should be delinquents and accountability process for you to ensure that what is the status of each of the credit limit, whether it's a 45 days, 90 days, or 60 days, depending upon their turnover and as well as their credit rating.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Okay. So Shivu is putting on chat saying that interest calculation on outstanding receivables, interest on late receipts from debtors. Venkana Shetty. Okay. Yeah, all those things are true. Yes. Okay. So how does Tally help in setting this credit limit? See, first thing is we need to understand basic things of a business is everybody sets up the business ultimately to make profits, ultimately to earn money, to earn cash. That is the ultimate goal. Does everyone agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me just give you an example. Today I have started a business with 10 lakh rupees of capital. I have invested 10 lakh rupees. I've put my 10 lakh rupees into the company's bank account and I'm starting a business. So Prasad is my supplier. Okay, so I'm into electronics trading. I buy from Prasad, materials I buy from Prasad. Prasad is giving me 15 days of credit. After 15 days, he'll say, for every week, I will charge you 1% beyond 15 days. Okay, so fine. So I agree to that and I start procuring materials from him. I'm selling to an end customer, okay, or an end consumer basically. Okay, so there are different ways of settlement. One is people are paying cash and buying materials from me. I don't have any problem with them. People are using their credit card, debit cards. Not a problem because bank is giving me the credit, so my money is insured. But I'm also selling on credit. Okay, so I have institutional sales. In institutions, people don't buy paying cash. Okay, they need credit. So in that case, when I give the credit, assume that I have got an opportunity to get inside HAL for supply of all the electronic items, electronic goods, white goods basically. Okay, so I have got an opportunity to supply to HAL, but HAL terms is 60 days payment period. Okay, if you want, you can supply or you can leave this account. That is how big organizations work. Now the problem is, I cannot go and negotiate back with Prasad because Prasad is very clear, I don't give any credit beyond 15 days. Okay, but I buy from Prasad on 16th day, I need to pay him. I am selling to HAL, I will get my money on 61st after 60 days. Okay, I'm not sure whether I'll get on 61st day or also or not, but I'm 100% sure I'll not get till 60 days. So this 45 days, who is paying the financial cost for this 45 days? Okay, and what is the cost of this finance? That is question number one that we need to understand. If the business continues like this, my 10 lakh might not be sufficient. Either I need to bring in more capital or I need to go to financial institution like banks or somebody and ask for credit. And banks will be very happy to give me the credit if I have a good credit ratings, but they will also charge interest. So typically what happens is in most of the business, if I don't collect cash within time, and if I don't negotiate with the supplier properly based on my customers, I end up paying the financial cost. Okay. So the more faster I turn around cash, that is good for my business. Say example, I have 10 lakh rupee worth of investment. Okay. And every month I'm doing 10 lakh rupee revenue, that is sales. But if my collection time is 60 days on an average, at any given point of time, I need to have 20 lakhs of investment in my business because 2 months turnover is 10 into 2, 20 lakhs. Anyhow, I don't get the 20 lakhs within 60 days. I need to wait for 60 days. Okay. But I have 10 lakh worth of capital that I have gotten because on 16th day, I need to pay back my supplier. So supplier will not keep quiet. Now there are two options for me. Either go back to supplier and negotiate for credit limit. Why will supplier agree to me? Supplier will also say, okay, I can extend this credit limit, but you have to increase your sales with me. Okay, because he is also a businessman. He will also think on his turnover, how fast he can turn over the cash. Okay, so these are all some of the critical aspects of any businessman that he looks at. Okay, so in that aspect, credit controls and interest calculations are very, very critical for businessmen. Me as an accountant, it might not be important for me. If I'm an accountant, I'm least bothered. How does it make any difference for me? Because I'm an accountant, I get my salaries at the end of the month. Okay, so to whom it bothers? First, it bothers to the owner of the organization. Second, it bothers to the sales team, because in most of the organization, sales incentives, the commissions, and the sales people promotions and everything not only depends on the number that they do, it also depends on the collections that they do. If they don't collect within time, probably they don't get any incentives, probably they don't get promotions. That is how most of the organizations work. Okay, so these are all the two people who get affected. First hand, they get affected. One is the owner of the organization, second is the sales team. So whether my finance team sees value in this or not, whether my finance people want to implement this or not, as an owner, I want to implement this and see where do I stand, how much money I am losing. Say, like example, okay, if there's a 60-day credit and I'm bringing money from outside, either from a bank or a financial institution, paying 1% interest per month. On a 10 lakh rupee, 1% interest is 10,000. Okay, that's a financial cost to me. And I need to factor that because that's an expenses that I'm incurring. Right? So I need to know all these details. To ensure that these details are available in the system, credit controls and interest calculations play a very critical role in setting up business data. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let us just look in Tally. Okay, how do we configure the credit limit and how do we see these reports and what we could infer from this report. Okay, so let's just go live to Tally. Okay, so let me take the same data. Yesterday I had taken some, what was this, the same data? Yeah, so let's take the same data. We had some informations, right? So we have some 3 purchase entry, 4 sales entry, no collections, right? Good. So some 3 payment entry and no collections. Okay. So there are a lot of outstanding, right? So first let us see who are my suppliers. Okay, and see what kind of credit they are going to give it to me. Okay, so who are my suppliers in my data? One is Kotari Electronics is my supplier, right? So if I just go to the ledger of Kotari Electronics, there is no credit limit defined. Okay, assume the first thing that you could define is how many days of credit I get from my suppliers. So each supplier wise I can go and define. Say example, in this case, I'm getting 15 days of credit. Then there is an option here, check for credit days during voucher entry. Means, do you want to allow the user to change this 15 days or not? While making the data entry, can the accountant or the data entry operator can go and change this to 25 days, or this 15 days should not be editable? Okay, if you say check for credit days during the entry as yes, it will allow the users to edit. And if you say no, it will not allow the users to edit. Right? Okay, so I've just configured this. Now let me make one new purchase entry. Okay, so let me take purchase on 12th of May. Okay, 12th of May, I am purchasing from Kotari Electronics. Okay, so cost center, I'm just saying not applicable for time being. Local purchase at 12%. 1 lakh rupee I am purchasing from him. Input CGST 6%. Input SGST 6%. So 1,12,000 is the purchase value. Okay. So once when I give this purchase value, you could check here, automatically 15 days is updated in the outstanding due dates. And it is telling me by 27th May it is due to be paid. And you click on enter, see it is just jumping this field. It's not allowing me to change this. So as an user, I cannot change the credit days. Okay. So I'm just saying test 1, 2, 3. Now I'll just go back to the ledger master, alter, Kotari, and I will say here, check for credit days during the voucher entry as yes. Now I'm saying while 15 days is there, if the user wants, he could change at when he is making the voucher entry. So example, let me just change the date to 13th of May. I'm making one more purchase entry, Kotari Electronics, local purchases, 2 lakh rupees, input CGST, input SGST, 2 lakh 24. Okay, so now again it's not changing over here, right? Okay, 1 second. Let me just see what is the issue. So it should actually allow me to change. Fields. Okay, so I'll just check this and I'll revert back to you. Anyhow, it will ask if you could change that. Okay.
Sir, what is that 12% you mentioned there? Is it an interest rate you're talking about?
No. So it is 12% GST, right?
GST. Okay.
So it is input
6 plus.
CGST and input SGST.
Oh, that has been okay. Understood.
Yeah. Okay. So example, I've just made an entry over here. 2 transactions have made. Okay.
The reason why,
sorry.
The reason why I asked was actually there is a percentage above the due date, right? What is the interest rate we need to calculate? It is an agreed percentage, right?
1 second.
No, I'm not. For example, the interest calculation is supposed to happen on this according to the due date, right?
Correct. So we have not got into interest calculation yet.
Okay.
We are still only in credit control settings.
Okay.
Credit control settings.
Understood.
Okay, so see, these are 2 different topics. Credit control is one topic, interest calculation is one more topic. Okay, so we are still in credit controls. Okay, so now I have just done 2 entries, 2 purchase entry, and my last date of transaction is 13th of May. Example, let me do one more entry on 31st of May. Okay, so I'm just, because to see the reports. Okay, so example, I'm just making one journal entry. Okay, I'm accounting my office rent 25,000, landlord, May rent accounted. I just accounted the rent. So now my last date of transaction is 31st of May. Now, what is the amount payable to Kotari Electronics? So how do you see that? You could just click on go to, click on bills payable. It will show all the bills which is payable. Okay, on the right hand side, you could say ledger wise bills. So Kotari, there are multiple bills that is payable. So on 12th of May, we did one purchase for 1 lakh plus 12,000 tax. Today we are on 31st of May. It was due by 27th of May. So it is overdue by 4 days. Similarly, on 13th of May, there was one purchase for 2,24,000 including tax, and 28th May was the due date. Since today we are on 31st of May, it is overdue by 3 more days. So this is one report that you could infer. So how many days it is overdue? Okay, so this is about my payable. Payable is what? Supplier. Ultimately, it means that money is going out of my business. So I'm okay. Let supplier wait. What's so big deal? He will come to me. Right? That is the most of the time. That is how we think. Okay, but that is not right thing to do, because supplier, okay, if I continue to delay his payment, he will stop supplies, or he will reduce the credit period. He will say, from next time if Mahesh comes, okay, don't give any credit. Let him pay cash and take. Let him give check and take. All right. So some of the things that is going to happen. Okay. So while I know now this is how the outstanding is calculated. Okay. Now, why will Kotari keep quiet? If I have 58 days of pending in my first bill, if there is 49 days of pending in my second bill, why will he continue to supply to me? It's very difficult, right? If my customer does the same thing to me, will I continue to supply to him? I don't do that, right? Okay. So now similarly, if I want to set up credit days for my customer, so this is about payable. So now let me look at receivables. So who is my customer in my data? Balaji Agencies. He is my customer, sundry debtors. What is the default credit days that is I need to give him? Say example. Always remember, in business, you should have lesser credit days than you get from your suppliers if you want to be profitable. If you start giving more credit days than your supplier gives to you, you will be spending from your pocket. Okay, say example, I'll just say it is 10 days. Okay, now let me make one transaction on 10th of May. So I'm making one sales on 10th of May to Balaji Agencies. Local sales 35,000 rupees. Let me make multiple transactions so that it's easier to see the reports. Output SGST, output CGST. Okay, so 41,300. By when it is due? By 21st it is due. Okay, bill number, I'll just say 4A. Okay, 41,300 is due by 20th May. So let me just do one more entry on 15th of May. Balaji Agencies, sales entry is giving one more 50,000 rupee products. On this there is a tax. Okay. So I'm selling to him. Sorry, I'm selling to him. So it's due by 25th. Okay, so let me just do one more entry before we close this. On 17th, I'm making one more entry with Balaji Agencies. Local sales, 60,000 rupees. Tax. This is due by 27th May. Okay, so we made few sale entries. I'm today on 31st of May. Today date is 31st of May. Now if I go and look at my receivables, go to bills receivables. See here, from Balaji Agencies, who is my customer, there are multiple bills that I have to receive. Pending amount, total pending amount is 8,72,280 rupees. Okay, if you look at age wise, 58 days, 58 days, 29 days, 11 days, 20 days, 6 days, and 4 days. So I have not received this money yet. Okay, so assume that I have, as of today, I have not received. Now, I'm a businessman. I have my accountant in my office. I have salespeople in my office. Now Balaji Agencies has called my salesperson and he has told, "Re, lakshad material kalsbudre." Now my salesperson will say, "Okay, bill will send." So who will take a call in the business saying, "No, I will stop selling to Balaji Agencies because he has not paid me"? And why will the system stop? Example I showed you, we made 3 entries on the fly. It took all the 3 entries. It didn't tell any time saying that, okay, outstanding is overshooted, or it didn't give any warning or any controls. Right? Now, if I want to set up a control, say example, now I want to set a control saying that anyhow Balaji Agencies has not paid 8,72,000, right? 280 is pending. I'll say for Balaji Agencies, credit limit is 8,75,000. Beyond 8,75,000, if there is a credit he has not paid, the bill should stop. Okay. So how do you set up that? So you could just again go back to your alteration of the ledger master, Balaji Agency, and you have an option here, specify credit limit. Say example here, I'll specify 8,75,000 rupees. Example I'm just taking because he already had 8,72,000 outstanding. Okay, and it is also asking override credit limit using post-dated transaction. This will explain when we discuss on what is post-dated transaction. Okay, currently you need not worry about this. Save this. So now I've given some controls. Now let me just go and change the date to 20th of May. Now I want to do one more sell entry. Okay, so Balaji Agencies has called my sales guy and sales guy is telling the accountant to bill. So I'm the owner, I'm out of office, I'm on some pleasure trip. Okay, now go to Balaji Agencies and my accountant is doing an entry for local sales of 1 lakh rupee. Okay, output CGST, output SGST. So it is 1,18,000. See here, what is the error it's giving? Credit limit of Balaji Agencies is 8,75,000 exceeded. If you account this bill, his credit limit will become 8,90,280. So you can't even do an invoice. Invoice preparation itself is not accepting in the system. This is one control that I could set as a owner of the organization. See, because let me tell you, as the organization grows, sales team has their own pressure. They are least bothered. Hey, guru, month end to bill madi, incentive the sales guy will be roaming around. Okay. Collection tane, that is when my boss will ask me, no. So in these cases, now if I've set up this credit limit, the system will take care of itself. So what does it mean? Now either I can bill Balaji Agencies another 2,000 rupees or 3,000 rupees as the balance is there, or first Balaji Agencies has to pay me. Then only it will allow me to bill. Example now, Balaji Agencies is crying, saying that Illa sir, material beku sir, David Kalsi sir, very problematic sir. Ivagle bank account transfer martin sir, online transfer martin sir, 2 lakhs. What would he? That is what we also want. We want him to transfer money. Okay. So let us see this transaction. So this has not got saved. Okay, it's come back. So you can't save this transaction. So what we'll do is now Balaji Agencies, as we discuss, now he has done an online transfer. So receipt has come to me to State Bank of India from Balaji Agencies. Against which bill he is paying? Example, 50,000 he paid on invoice number 1 and another 1,50,000 he paid on invoice number 2. So this is the adjustment that I'm doing. Okay, online transfer or whatever he has done. So now I've accounted the receipt. Okay, now what is the outstanding balance from Balaji Agencies? I could just click on go to and click on bills receivable. Balaji Agencies total is 6,72,000. And what is the credit limit I have? 8,75,000. Now the system will allow me to do the sales entry. Local sales. How much it was? We did 1 lakh or 2 lakhs, something we did. Okay, let me take 1 lakh. Output CGST. Output is this. Now this invoice should accept. Saved? Yes. It didn't give any error. This transaction saved. Is this clear? How the credit control works in the system? And most of the time, credit control is required for my customers. I don't require credit control for suppliers. My supplier will worry about it. Why? I need not worry about it. Only for tracking I require. But reality of the credit control is required at my customer ledger master, customer tracking. So this is how you could set up the credit limit, and this is how you could control in the system. So Tally gives you both the option. Either you could set up the credit limit by number of days. When you set up by number of days, if you just set up only by number of days without giving the credit limit value, the system will not stop you from doing the entry. Still you can continue to do the entry, but your outstanding will go on increasing. But if you want to set up the credit limit, when you set up the credit limit, then the system will start tracking and it will not allow you to bill beyond that limit if the customer has not paid. Is this clear? Okay, so any questions on credit limit? How to set up credit limit? Okay, what are all the different options? Or do you have any business scenario? Okay, if anyone has any questions, you could ask another 30 seconds. If there is any questions, please let me know. Okay, looks like it's clear for everyone. Okay, so now let's move forward. Venkana Shetty has a question. Okay, so Venkana Shetty has a question. What if I want to increase credit limit later? You could just go and increase the credit limit. You can just go to Balaji Agencies, Master, and change this to 10 lakhs. Save it now, it will allow up to 10 lakhs. This is dynamic. Whenever you want, you could go and change the credit limit.
Sir, is all transaction entry will be there in the backend?
Yes, every transaction will be saved.
No, when I'm saying this, for example, credit limit I have given for, let's say, 5 lakhs and it is given there. In somebody, no, some of my accountant come and change to 10 lakhs. So in the back history, there will be a full history. It is showing you who changed, how much it is changed.
No. That is not there. See, because that credit limit doesn't have an effective date or anything. It is just one field that has been mentioned there.
Now, what I'm saying is transaction log. Usually Oracle do that one because any changes which happens in the back end, you know very well who changed at what time.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Just I was asking for that.
No,
Okay.
no, it's not available. It's not available.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So, Venkana, is it clear? Yeah, I got your response. Okay, thanks. Are there any questions with respect to credit limits before we move to interest calculation? Okay, fine. So now this other option in Tally that you have is fine. Balaji Agencies has not paid me this much of money. If I go to receivables, Balaji Agencies pending amount is 7,90,000. What does it mean? It means that I have failed to collect this money from Balaji Agency and he is using my money and he is doing his business. Because Kotari Electronics is giving me only 15 days of credit. I am paying money on 16th day to my Kotari Electronics, but Balaji Agencies is enjoying my credit. Means what? I'm actually funding Balaji Agencies to do his business. Very simple reason. 58 days, 2,50,000. I am not able to collect for last 58 days. It is overdue by 58 days. The same 2,50,000, if I had kept an FD in my State Bank of India for 60 days, I would have earned 2,000 rupees. Why should I do this business and fund Balaji Agencies from my capital? Do you all agree with me? Okay, so the next step, what a businessman does is he'll say, okay, he will talk to Balaji Agency, he'll say, okay, no problem, sir. For every overdue, I will charge interest. If you are okay, let's do business. Because it's my capital, I have got an OD from bank and I'm paying interest and I'm not able to collect, you are not able to pay me. So let's have a deal. I will share what is the interest that you are supposed to pay me on this amount. Okay. So how do you set up that? So again, first thing is you need to enable, go to F11 features. Here you have an option after cost center called enable interest calculation. First thing is enable this interest calculation. Save. Now interest calculation with whom I need to do? Most of the time I need to do with my customers. So Balaji Agencies is my customer. So again, let me go to Balaji Agencies master. Now I get a new option called activate interest calculation. Okay, so example, I'm just saying, yes, I want to activate interest calculation. Now I need to set up how the interest has to be calculated. So do you want to calculate interest transaction by transaction or for the outstanding value? The example in Balaji Agencies that there are some 5-6 bills, which was some 7,90,000. So now we want to calculate it, interest on 7,90,000 at some given rate, or you want to calculate interest transaction by transaction. Okay. So example, first let me show you. I don't want to calculate interest transaction by transaction. I want to just calculate interest on the closing balance, that is the outstanding balance at 2% on what? So here you could calculate based on days, based on month, or based on calendar. Okay. So when you say month, there are two kinds of month. One is 30-day month or calendar month. Calendar month means January, March has 31 days. February either has 28 days or 29 days based on calendar. When you say 30-day month, irrespective number of days in that month, it will default take us 30 days. January also it will treat us 30 days. February also it will treat us 30 days. March also it will treat us 30 days. Or if you are calculating year, whether it's a 365-day year or calendar year, because few calendar year might have 366 days also, leap year. Okay, so like example, I'm just saying, calculate based on calendar month, 2% on calendar month, on what? On credit balance or debit balance or on all balances. Example, I'm just saying on all balance. Same. So I've just configured, I'm just showing you once more. I've enabled interest calculation. I've told don't calculate on transaction by transaction, just calculate on all balances at 2% per calendar month. Okay, so once you save this, anyhow you're doing normal transaction of your sales, receipt, credit notes, all those things, you do that. In your display more reports, in statement of accounts, you get a new option called interest calculation reports, interest calculations. Here you have interest receivables and interest payables, or you could also look at from ledger, individual ledger perspective, or from group perspective. So like example, let me just say for a specific ledger, I need to know, because here I have enabled for only one Balaji agencies. So now it is saying the total interest that I need to collect is 21,554.26. So how it has come? So it is saying for the month of April, see this one, 3rd April to 1st May, it was 29 days. Okay, interest is 2%. On 29 days, it has proportionately taken and it is saying the value is 8,700. On 6 lakhs for 9 days. On 6 lakh 41,000. So it is the balances are increasing because the first outstanding balance was on 1st of May. Because 3rd April to 1st May, that 29 days, it has calculated for that. Now the balance got increased. On 6 lakh for 9 days, on 6 lakh 41 for 1 day, on 6 lakh 42 for 4 days, 7 lakh 1 for 2 days, 7 lakh 72 for 3 days. And because there was some receipt money that we got and the invoice that we did, so the balance got reduced. It became 6 lakh 90,000 for 11 days. So totally 21,000 is my interest that I need to charge him, and Tally will not pass any automated entries. Okay, it will not automatically now update to the Balaji agencies. Now it is for me to go and discuss with Balaji agencies and collect this also. He is not paying my bill itself. Why will he pay interest? It's difficult to take money from him, but at least this will give me a confidence when I go to him to say that how much loss I am having because you are not paying me. Example, if my bank is charging 2% on a OD, this is what they charge. I lost this money. Okay, this is based on balance. When you say on the last balances for that particular number of days, this is one way of calculating. The second way of calculating, let me just make some changes to the configurations itself. So let me just go back to alter of Balaji agency and say interest calculation. Now I will say it is based on transaction by transaction. Yes, I will enable transaction by transaction. Okay, override parameters for each transaction. So at the transaction level, do you want to change? Is what it is asking. I'll say no. For which added amounts or amounts deducted. Okay, I'm saying for each of transaction by transaction, calculate 2% on all balances. Okay, now when I make changes to transaction by transaction and click on D, display more reports, S for statement of accounts, I for interest calculation, and again go back to ledger and look at Balaji agency. Now my interest calculation, see, look at here, it has changed. It has become 21,563. And now it is giving, because I had specified calculate bill by bill, it is saying this bill 50,000 was opening balance. Now pending amount is 0. Okay, but still there is an interest of 2% on 48 days because after overdue, I collected after 48 days of overdue. So for that 48 days at 2%, it is 1,580. On invoice number 2, 4 lakh rupees opening amount, only 2 lakh 50 is pending. So we have got a partial payment. We received partial money from him of 1,50,000. So it is saying on 4 lakh for 48 days is 12,648 and 2.5 lakhs for 11 days at 2% is 1,774. So with that total, it has become 14,490. Similarly, on the other invoice 23434, 1 lakh is pending for 30 days. So you could just go and completely see the reports, and now it is giving the bill wise interest calculation. Right? See, this is how, so why do you need this? One is, when I sit with my customer, this data gives me an insight of how I'm able to manage this customer and able to collect money or not. This is the first information that I can get when I sit with my customer. The second is, if I have a sales team, I need to show the sales team saying that, see, look, don't come back at the end of the month asking for incentives. See, look how much money I have lost in this business selling to this customer. There's no fun in selling to this customer. Assume that I'm working on a 4% margin. On 6,90,000, 4% is how much? It's around 24,000 rupees. Take 25,000 rupees. On 25,000 rupee margin that I should have earned from this Balaji agencies, I'm paying interest of 21,000 rupees. So is it worth doing business with him and paying incentives for my sales team? So these are some of the critical informations that you can get from Tally. And this is, let me tell you purely, this is not the interest of an accountant. Accountant will be least bothered. As a owner, this is what I look at from the data. Okay, so the first thing that you need to tell your customers, or if you are implementing Tally, if you are an accountant, or if you are a owner, if you are a manager, whoever you are, the first thing is, if you want to ensure that there is positive cash flow in your organization, set up credit limits and interest calculation in your Tally. This is just like a mirror. It will show you, okay, how much money you are losing, though you might always feel that you always go back to your profit and loss and say, good. I did net profit of 3,14,000. But that is not true. This 21,000 expenses that you have incurred is not reflected in this P&L. You all agree with me? Right? Okay. So are there any questions before we move to the next configurations? I'll give 30 seconds. If anyone has any questions, you could pose the questions. Okay. Fine.
Hello,
Yeah.
sir. Chetan, sir.
Yeah. Heli Chetan.
Sir, directly hit ಆಗುತ್ತಾ sir? Like ledger wise ಅಲ್ಲಿ hit ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ಹೆಂಗೆ sir interest calculation?
Interest
Suppose
calculation.
ಬಾಲಾಜಿ ಏಜೆನ್ಸಿ ಅಂತ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ,
ಹೌದು.
hello.
ಹಾ ಹೇಳಿ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹೇಳಿ.
Suppose ಇವಾಗ ಬಾಲಾಜಿ ಏಜೆನ್ಸಿ ಅಂತ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ledger, ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಹಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ಸರ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್?
ಇಲ್ಲ
ಅಮೌಂಟ್ಸ್
ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಹಿಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು.
ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದ್ಸಲಿ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿ ಸರ್, ಅದು ಬಾಲಾಜಿ ಏಜೆನ್ಸಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ.
ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ. ಅದು ಏನ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ತೋರಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಅಂತ.
ಓಕೆ, ಅದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು.
ಆ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಹೋಗಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಇಟ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಮೀನ್ ದಟ್ ಬಾಲಾಜಿ ಏಜೆನ್ಸೀಸ್ ಅವ್ರು ನಿಂಗೆ 21,000 ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ.
ಓಕೆ,
ಬಾಲಾಜಿ ಏಜೆನ್ಸೀಸ್ ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಡದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಿನ್ಗೆ ಆ ಕಾಸು.
ಓಕೆ, ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ
ಅಮೌಂಟೇ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ?
ಓಕೆ, ಅದೇ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ.
ಇಲ್ಲ ನೀನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಲ್ ವೈಸ್ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು 6,90,000ನೇ ಕೊಯ್ಯೋಮರು ಅಂತ 58 ದಿವಸ 60 ದಿವಸದಿಂದ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ.
ಹೌದು, ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ನಿನ್ಗೆ? But when you go and speak to him, when you meet your customer, you need to explain him, no, how much you are losing. See, example, ನೀನು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಓಡಿ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೋ. ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅವ್ರು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂತಾರ? ಓಡಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ತಾನೆ 2%.
ಶೋರ್ ಸರ್, ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
ಸೊ ಇದು ನಿಮ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಆಟೋಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕಲಿ. ಇದು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ತೋರ್ಸತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನೀವು ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಓಕೆ ಅವನೇನೋ ನೆಗೋಷಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾಸು ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ, 20,000 ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ ಸರ್, 10,000 ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್, ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ನೆಗೋಷಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ನೀವು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಕಾಜಿ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತೀರಾ. ಬಟ್ ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ಲಿ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಏನು? ಔಟ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. Right.
But Madhu, this also depends on business to business.
Correct. It also depends on business to business. See, let me tell you, there are some organizations who are very, very transparent.
Yeah.
Before you go and become a customer with them, they have one big clauses. They'll say you have to pay within 15 days. From 16th day to 100 days, we will charge you 2%. After 100 days, we will charge you 3%. Okay, and you will sign all those agreements. In that case, you don't have a choice. But in most of the unorganized sector, it is based on trust it works. See, most of the time ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನನ್ನ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಗೆ ಸರ್ ಪ್ರತಿ ತಿಂಗಳು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಬಿಡಿ ಸರ್, ಈ ಮಂತ್ ಏನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸರ್. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೌ ವಿ ವರ್ಕ್. ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್.
ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅದು ನಮ್ದಿನ್ನ ನಮ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಮೋಸ ನಮ್ದು. ಯಾಕೆಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮೆಟ್ರೋ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ, ಇವ್ರು ಮೆಟ್ರೋ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ, ಇವ್ರು ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ 60 day ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್.
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. So
we always be under loss only.
Right. So you need to factor that percentage of interest
in your products.
On your products, yes, of course. Otherwise, there is no point. No. See, Parle G biscuit gotalva ellargu. Okay. Do you know what is the margin that people earn out of Parle G biscuit? Example, if you are a distributor of Parle G, Parle G distributor gets 1.5%. Okay, and they survive based on volume, not on value. Volume ಎಷ್ಟು consumption ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರ 1.5% ಏನೇ every month they earn in some 30-40 lakhs each distributor. Okay, but the problem, do you know what happened when GST got introduced? Parle G was charged at 12%. First, when GST was introduced in 2017. On a 1.5% margin, if the tax is 12%, do you believe that the business will survive? Okay.
That is a challenge. Yeah.
So, lot of things like that. So you need to, so as a business owner, these are all the things that you need to look at. Okay. And for all those accountants who are in this session, for you also, it's very, very important. It is not just about the business owner. because you are the face of the organization and you are the one who is building the bridge between your sales team and the management. And if you don't bring these informations, then your management will not see value in your existence also. Okay, so these are some of the critical things that you need to bring as a finance team. This is what you need to present. Okay, when you get an opportunity to discuss with your management, you need to say, see, look, I have studied this, your data, and this is what it is. This is where you're losing money. Even as a owner, I might also not be aware of it. Right? Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's move forward. Next. Then when you get into the configuration, there is one more configuration called override parameters for each transaction. So what does this mean? Yes, I want to charge 2% on calendar month for each of the bill outstanding. But but when I'm doing a transaction, let me decide whether 2% or 3% or I don't want to charge. Hello. Who is that? Can you please mute? Akbar, can you please mute? Okay, Akbar is muted. Who is this? Okay, fine. I think everyone got it. Okay. Okay. So now in this, what it means is while making transaction, do you want the user to allow to make the changes in this interest calculation? If you want to allow, make it as yes. Okay, now when I make it as yes, let me do one more transaction. Okay, say example, let me just change to 21st of Balaji Agencies. Local sales, 1 lakh rupee. See here, a new window opened. Now it is asking interest calculation. By default, it has taken 2%. Now you want to change it to 3%, you could do it. You want to change it to 0%, you could do it. You could say, okay, for this transaction, I don't want to calculate interest calculation. It happens in few of the transaction. Okay, you might be giving, say example, if you are a HLL distributor. Okay, at the end of the month, based on some scheme or something, okay, they will give you 1000 RIN bar free or at a subsidized rate. Now for this, you are not going to pay back the money, nor you want to charge interest. In that case, you could disable this, or there might be one very critical item. Say example, now I am a distributor of medicines. Okay, Dr. Reddy. I am a distributor of products of Dr. Reddy Labs. Now Dr. Reddy Labs have got Sputnik. First thing is I don't want to give any credit for this product. Second thing, though I am giving the credit, say example 3 days of credit. If you don't pay within 3 days, while for other products it is 2% interest calculation, but for this transaction it is 10% interest calculation. You could also set up that. So you can override in your transaction based on the business scenario. If you want to allow this to happen, and if you want to give this option for a data entry operator, you can enable that in the master. Okay. So I could do this. Example for this, it is okay. So I'm not charge GST. Okay. 1 second. Output. Okay. So interest example on this, it is 10%. 30 days credit. Okay. Now, if I look at my outstanding. First, let us look at the receivables. How much is receivables? Balaji Agencies, this is 0. Still, because I'm on 31st of May. So let me just change the reporting date to 30th June. Now it is 30 days, overdue by 30 days because I'm looking report as at 30th of June. Now if I want to look at the interest, okay. So I think I can just click on exceptional reports. Overdue, receivables, payables. Okay, no, it's not available over here. Okay, fine. So let me just go to, it's not available over here. So I need to go to display more reports, statement of accounts, interest calculation for Balaji Agencies. Okay, so let me just say till 30th June. Okay, on bill number 9 at 10% as calculated. On 1,18,000, 15,340 is the, because on this transaction I'm charging 10% if on overdue receivable. Is this clear? Okay, so let me just go back to my presentation and look at, did we cover all the critical points? So credit limit by days, we looked at it, number of days that you could specify, and credit control by credit limit based on the value. So we looked at these two things. How to enable credit controls, we looked at that at the ledger, configuration at the ledgers that we looked at, and controls in the voucher entry. Then we came to interest calculation. How does the simple interest calculation work? And how does the advanced interest calculation work? I think we missed out this advanced interest calculation. We will look at this advanced interest calculation. Okay, and we looked at how to override at the vouchers and reports we looked at. So one point we missed out is advanced configuration of interest calculation. So what we looked at in Tally was only the simple interest calculation. Okay, based on this thing, what we had done. So now, if I just go to Balaji Agencies, okay, interest calculation, this is what we had specified as 2% per month. Now, you can just click on F12 over here, configuration on the bottom right hand bottom, and you could enable the advanced interest calculation parameters. Now, once when you have an advanced interest calculation, see, like this is typical Vaishya Marwadi kind of interest calculation. So you have that buddy, chakra buddy, that buddy, this buddy, all these calculations, right? If you want to have that configurations in the system, you could still do it. Example, I'll just show you. So 2% on all balances, applicability post due date, only it's on post due date. Okay, and do you want to give grace period, grace days? Say example, 15 days of credit, and I'm giving 2 more grace days. I understand bank is closed, check deposit will take time. To get credit, it will take time, though I'm not using technology. My customer always pays on check, physical check. So all those considerations are there. So I'm just giving 3 days of post due days, 3 days, additional 3 days. Then on what? Date of applicability, effective date of transaction, and do you want to round off? So if the interest comes as 15,536.48, I don't want that point. So round off to the nearest 1 rupee or 10 rupee, whatever that you want, you could specify, say example, 10 rupee. Now, next I have, it will go to 3%, okay, on calendar month, on all balances, post due date. I don't give any this thing. Okay. and I could go on setting up the rates. Then I also have here something called only for added amount or only for deducted amount. I could set up even those things. So I could have multiple rates set up in the same master and then look at the report. Example, I could just go to and say interest calculation for the ledger for Balaji agencies. Okay. So post applicability date that I had specified, and I had also specified to round it off to 10 rupees. Okay, so based on that, it is taking for 40 days and 15,000 by 40. Okay, so this also I could set it up. So now example, I'm just altering the same transaction. I'll go here, then it will ask for, so this I had specified for 10%. Okay, so it will just ask for this. So based on that, it will start calculating. So you could also set up the advanced configuration where you could have multiple percentages and decide on the percentage. Is that clear? Okay, so this is the advanced configuration that you could set it up. We looked at the voucher entry, overriding of interest calculation at the voucher. We looked at that. Then we also looked at the reports. So I'm through with this topic. If there are any questions, I would like to take. So you could unmute and speak if you have any questions. Are there any questions? Okay, so if there are no questions, I've come to the end of this session. Thanks for attending this session. Tomorrow we will move to the inventory aspects, the basics of inventory aspects. And if you have any questions, I'm there on the call for next 2 minutes. Either you could unmute and speak, or you could put it on chat. Else, we will disconnect. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for attending this. So from tomorrow, we will start the inventory management. Okay, let me look at.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Shivu, are you there? You have a question, GST on interest calculation.
Yes, sir.
What is the question, Shivu?
Sir, interest calculation ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಾವು GST ಏನಾದ್ರು ಪೇಯಬಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತಾ ಸರ್? ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ ಇದೆಯಾ GST ಗೆ?
ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ.
ಸರ್, ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ ಇಂದ ಕಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ಹೌದು.
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ GST ಏನಾದ್ರು ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತಾ ಸರ್? ಅದಕ್ಕೆ
ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ ಇಂದ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ನೋಟ್ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ನೋಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಅವಾಗ GST ಆಗೇ ಆಗತ್ತೆ.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಡ್ ಆನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇವಾಗ 3,000 rupees ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ಲಸ್ GST ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದೆಮ್.
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್.
ಓಕೆ,
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್, ಅಬ್ಸಲ್ಯೂಟ್ಲಿ. ಅಥವಾ 3,000 ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಆಫ್ GST ಅಂತ ನೀವು ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ.
ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್.
ಸಿ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬೆಟರ್. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್, ನನ್ನ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ ಬಿಲ್ ದುಡ್ಡೇ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್, ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಗೆ GST ಕೊಡ್ತಾನಾ? ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ಇಂಪಾಸಿಬಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನೀವೇ ಪುಣ್ಯವಂತರು. ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, GST ಕಟ್ಟಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks, Venkana. Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'm closing the call.